fiercely pursuing accountability on policy and implementation. It's time for another DJ Elf 7 candidate interview.
Yeah, what's up? It's your boy DJ Elf 7, and I got a very special guest. As you know, I'm interviewing every candidate running for public office here in New York City, and I got one of them here today. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Dievine Nash, and I'm running for public office. I'm here to represent the homeless. My nephew and I, we've been in the homeless shelter system since January of 2018, and we have yet to receive a voucher. Currently, they pay $3,159.52 per person, and that comes to my nephew and I a grand total of $6,319.04 each month.
Okay, wait a second. When we talk about the voucher is to what? Pay for housing, food? What is this voucher for?
Yes, well, I don't qualify quite yet for a voucher because HPD says I need a job in order to receive a voucher. So I am currently in a shelter because I was legally evicted from my house, my nephew and I. And I just couldn't seem to find adequate housing because of background checks, because I'm an ex-felon. And that kind of like hurted me a lot. So I wasn't able to actually get an apartment.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about your activism background?
Okay, I'm with College Initiative, Fortune Society. When I came home in January of 2015, I stopped at Fortune Society. Fortune Society sent me to College Initiative.
Is that like a halfway house?
No, I didn't have to go to a halfway house.
Okay.
Because I had a place to stay. Take it out. Yeah, so from there, which actually the Fortune Society, they put me in a work program, and they helped me do interviews, mock interviews for job interviews, and I got a job. They got me a job in New Jersey, and I worked that job for all the way until I got off of probation, till 2018. And I signed up with College Initiative, which is a part of John Jay criminal justice system. Mm-hmm. And from there, you know, I I've been College Initiative. I'm a mentor. I was a mentor and a mentee. And I was a mentee first, and then I was a mentor. I had about 4 guys that came home from jail, and I helped them, get back in school and, just navigate the school systems and things like that. That's what we do at College Initiative. And I've been doing a lot of work there.
Cool, man.
Through College Initiative, I got hooked up with CCA, and
Yo, you heard of After Prison Show?
Yes.
You heard of Lockdown 23-1?
Yes.
Who else you'll be watching?
It is so many. Like I said, I'm
Big Hurt
because I was in a car accident. It's these 2 guys. Oh, gosh, it's kind of like they're rappers, and one of them did time, and I can't remember his name. I get brain,
We're shouting them out. John Carriaco, we was talking about earlier, yeah. So, if you guys watching, you know what I mean, or just talking about, like, people from after prison, coming up and doing something big, this is kind of cool, man. Divine's story, I hope that you guys could help out with this, with what he's doing here.
Most definitely. We definitely appreciate you guys. Yeah. Because some guys, when they come home, like, I was fortunate enough to have some place to come when I go home, but the 3-quarter houses are like crack houses. Yeah. And you have guys who are suffering from, with substance abuse, mental issues, and they're in these places and they're really suffering because they never address their mental issues, their traumas. And there are a lot of people out there like that, and a lot of people are out there committing crimes. And I feel that when the guys that coming home from prison who didn't address these traumas in jail and just it only escalated, and then they're coming back out in society and faced with homeless issues and housing issues and work issues and family issues, and it just it drives them over the edge. And it's sort of like the system is kind of like made to like push these guys back in prison. I'm one of the fortunate ones that was able to stay out of prison for 6 years. But some people on my second bid, I was only home 10 months, and I caught another one because I didn't have a job, and I didn't have money, so it didn't take me too long to get back into the old, thick of things. And there's
I
some
get it. I
people,
get it. You
yeah,
have when you take a person's away a person's ability to live legitimately,
right,
you are basically forcing them to live an illegitimate lifestyle. And I am just,
yeah, yeah,
I'm on that edge too, man. I've been on the homeless part of things, and living homeless, you have to break some rules just to make it, you know what I mean? And once you start breaking one rule, it's like, and you feel it's violence. You get the hunger and the discrimination that occurs to you, you know what I mean? You have to move all your things, you know what I mean? While the other person just gets to keep it easy. You're always like under fear. You can't live like that, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Nah,
no,
so, yeah.
yeah.
Hey, man. It's great to talk to a brother who's been through the struggle, man. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Great talking to somebody who understands the struggle and giving an ear for guys like us, because there's so many of us who has so much to say and can't say it, doesn't have the audience or just the ear to say it. Somebody to say it to someone like that. So I definitely appreciate everything that you're doing, man. I
Yeah,
definitely, and I do see you out there. So you definitely one of us.
I appreciate that.
I'm currently with CCA, and we're right now trying to get a bill passed so that we don't, so they would stop scrutinizing us based on our past history, and our housing and stuff like that wouldn't be affected anymore.
How long ago did you get out?
I got out January 7th, 2015,
Okay, so that's some
from
time ago.
federal sentence.
Okay, well, I know it's rough getting out here on the streets,
Yeah,
hard to find a job, hard to find housing, hard for everything. So I feel
yeah.
for you. Actually, I am passionate about working with the homeless community. I actually
Hmm.
have been homeless myself, and I know that we are very close because a lot of people formerly in prison and in jail end up on the streets because of the difficulties
Yes,
that they have readjusting. So,
that's true.
yeah. So,
So actually, I didn't have a problem readjusting. I graduated from college. I got my bachelor's degree in psychology. It's just that with COVID and the economy, and I want to blame it on that. But I wasn't getting too much employment before that. I had a job. I had to go to New Jersey to get a job as a telemarketer, and it was really killing my pockets. I had to pay double fare, New York and New Jersey, and I was making a minimum wage because I was doing telemarketing, and you get commission. And so in New Jersey, they don't have to give you but minimum wage, which was crazy because I could not live off of. I had to wait every month for my commission in order for me to actually live.
yeah, so that's interesting that you're running for office now. Now, the thing is
Yes.
that a lot of times, how do you fulfill your residency requirement? Because the thing is that sometimes they tell you that you got to live somewhere, so you got to have, so your address is the shelter?
Well, uh, that is true. I also have a mailing address. I always had it because I used to own a business, and so my the where I owned a business at, the person still allows me to get mail sent there. So because I had a business there for so long, and I keep getting mail anyway, so I kind of like leave it there.
Okay.
So that's but I don't, and I mean that should change as well, because I want to speak up for the homeless people because we don't have a voice. You
Okay.
know,
Can I ask you, what were you locked up for?
uh, jewelry store robbery and bank robberies.
Okay. And so the thing is that when you're running for office, right? Why can people, maybe there might be some, people might think, do I really want to elect someone who has a criminal background? What do you think about that?
Well, not some of the worst criminals have never been caught,
True.
and a lot of times, Jeffrey Dahmer, BTK guy was actually a Sunday school teacher, and he was doing it for over 30 years, and no one knew that he was binding, torturing, and killing people. No one knew that. So, I
Yeah.
mean, you can't really put a face. I come from Crown Heights. Crack cocaine destroyed my neighborhood. I moved there December 1980,
Yeah.
and within 3 years, my neighborhood fell victim to crack cocaine. By 1985, crack had ravished Franklin Avenue. like a wildfire.
Now, okay, if I could just respond to this for a second. Now, the thing is that actually it's candidates like you that I find exciting for a couple of reasons. First of all, not only are you a longtime resident, right, but you also survived when New York City kind of like hit a hard spot, which I think we're about to go and hit right now. There's not a lot of jobs available. There's a lot of poverty. There's a lot of problems. Another issue is that someone like yourself, okay, you've been through the system. You've been through, the shelters. You've been through the prison system. You've been through maybe the welfare system, things like that, right? Yeah. And you've seen how it's broken and you understand how it works. A lot of these candidates from middle class backgrounds have never interacted with it. They've only interacted with maybe like someone telling them, right, some numbers, hiding the reality that they don't want, right? Their management or something. They don't want to tell the realities, but you've seen it from the ground. So I think that there's a lot to be, there's a lot to learn from someone who's been in those positions, and they will know it in ways that these other people just cannot.
Right, because I actually lived through it. I'm living through it now. Yeah.
Yeah. So also the thing is that if you are as a person who's looking for help, right, and you are someone who's who got evicted recently, I think there's going to be a lot of people like that. You probably want someone who's been through the experience and understands exactly what you're going through and where you're having problems, because that's where they had problems.
Not to cut you off, but and to piggyback on what you're saying, there's a moratorium coming out. The city will only pay 4 months back rent tops. You have people who haven't paid their rent in over a year, and so because they haven't paid their rent in over a year, they're not going to pay even the 4 months. So that's going to start an influx of homeless people, because landlords are no longer going to allow people to stay there rent free, which I don't blame them. I mean, it is a business, and in order to stay in business, you have to pay bills. You can't pay bills without money. It's just a simple fact. But a lot of these landlords are getting the PPD loans, I think it's PPE loans. And so what that does is for the tenants who aren't paying rent, it's supposed to cover that. But they're getting the loans and still kicking out the residents. Well, I'm quite sure they still will be, once this moratorium hit, and it's coming.
Yeah, it's going to be real ugly, yeah. Yes. So we're going to have to see what happens with that. So what else? Now you're running for office. What precipitated the idea to run for office?
Well, like I said, my nephew and I, we have been in the shelter system for approximately 38 months, going on 39 months. And at $6,319.04 times 39, that's almost $250,000.
Okay.
Now, for $250,000, we could have gotten a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath condo, and still had change left over. Now, I've always asked HPD, while I'm waiting on the voucher, you guys are paying $6,319.04. How about I find an apartment? You cover the cost of the apartment, because the average 2-bedroom apartment is roughly $2,500. Okay. So if you pay $2,500 and kick in another $500 for expenses, that will bring you to a total of $3,000. You get to actually save $3,319.04. Now, in my building alone, I live in a hotel. It's 12 floors, 11 of them with 15 rooms on each floor. That comes up to 135 rooms and there's at least 2 people in every room. So each room represents $6,319.04 times 135. That brings it to roughly $100,000 every month the landlord collects from HPD for us to be here. Now, at that times 12, that's $13 million a year. For $13 million, they could have built affordable housing for every last person in this building and still had money left over.
Do you know who is the landlord?
It's a bunch of different LLCs and managements. But the funny thing is, a lot of these hotel owners, and this guy, he owns quite a few hotels. He owns a few on Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn. He owns a lot of them, and they all are shelters. and he provides the bare minimum. The bare minimum.
I understand. Well, that's just how it is, man. That's actually my man for Lewis from Fight for NYCHA says that uh, the free market cannot be trusted to provide low-income housing because there's just not the financial incentive. So they're just going to do the bare minimum, and that's just unfortunately what happens. So look, I'm going to actually ask you a couple of I do actually have a bunch of political allies. I'm going to ask you your positions on some of these other issues. Are you ready?
Sure.
Yeah. What do you support Assange?
So I support who?
Assange.
What is that?
He's currently in jail. I would term him a political prisoner because the thing is that he was involved with WikiLeaks. You heard of WikiLeaks?
Oh, the guy in
Yeah.
Germany. Him.
Well, he's from Australia and he's locked up in England right now. But yeah, he's overseas. Okay. Would you support him being freed?
Yeah. Listen. I've been in jail, and trust me, it is no walk in the park.
Yeah.
The worst thing you can do is put a human being in a cage.
Right.
I don't care what size the cage is. The Bible teaches us that the meek is weak so that the strong can eat. And for far too long, the strong has been eating. And when you bring light to that, some people tend to want to stay in seclusion and they want to stay with their anonymity, and that's fine. But they are committing atrocities. And if you know of anything that's going on, like let's say conspiracy means if you tell me that you're going to commit a crime and I don't call the cops, I don't even have to commit the crime with you. And you go commit that crime and you kill somebody, I can be charged as an accessory because I did not report you. I helped you commit that crime by not telling anyone that you were about to commit that crime. So that makes you and I accessories. That makes me your co-defendant. And I didn't even commit the crime. So when you know that someone is doing something, the moral thing to do is to bring it to light, especially if it's hurting people. And from my understanding, he brought to light a lot of information about a lot of people that was doing a lot of underhanded things. And so they need to be held accountable for it because we are suffering today based on these underhanded things these people have been doing. And they're not upset about what the person that he told on did. They're more upset that he told on them.
Yeah, you got it. That's a great summary right there. I appreciate that. Yeah. Hey, what about UBI? Do you support UBI?
You're going to have to spill me in on that.
That's something called Universal Basic Income. It's been said that, that this program has rolled out successfully in Alaska. There are some points of, nuance about it, but just the overall concept of universal basic income, trying to eliminate poverty through that means. There are some nuances there, though. Go ahead.
Well, I think that for so long, 99% of the people have been on the struggling end that, and we're not even going to talk about nationalities. We're not going to talk about the Native Americans. We're not going to talk about blacks, Puerto Ricans, all of the atrocities that have been done to we as people. We can't even begin to talk about that because that's another story on itself, but it goes hand in hand with the way the system is running today. It is designed to keep these races down. And so far too long, I was going door to door campaigning with Rick, and I came across a lot of people who've been in the country for over 40 years, 50 years, and don't speak English, don't have paperwork. And this pandemic has crippled them because they can't go to work. The one lady, her husband died during COVID, and he was a sole provider. And so she's living off of what he had in the bank. And she has no idea what she's going to do when that money's gone because she doesn't really exist other than what her husband put down on paper for her. Why this is like this, I don't know. But from my understanding, she's not the only one. There are people here that's been in this country for years, don't speak the language, just speaks their native language, their communities. And this is why it's so important to not tear these communities apart. Because
and these people didn't get no unemployment checks and nothing. So these people are really...
They can't get anything. No type of service. So if she didn't have her husband's savings, I don't know what she would be doing right now. She was just, I'm getting a little emotional right now because I'm like, what is she going to do? She has no kids, no family. She has to be in despair. I mean, she's just waiting every day for somebody to come and just turn her world upside down.
Sure. Yeah. So UBI is something, I guess, that you would support?
Most definitely.
Okay.
I am all for free trade, everybody. The funny thing is, I was having this talk with a friend of mine and projected sales. And the reason why Chrysler was closed down is because they inflated their projected sales. And then when they didn't hit the mark, they wanted to be bailed out. So projected sales is just you saying, I got X amount of products that I'm going to sell at this dollar value. And if you don't sell it, and because you had to take a few cuts here and there, you should be compensated. Well, how about instead of doing it 20 times, do it 10, and then you would meet your mark.
Sure.
Okay. So we're bailing out companies who just picking a number out of the sky and say, this is what I'm going to make this year. And because they didn't make it, they got to get a bailout. But we're not going to help, we're not going to help a person who's, due to COVID can't go to work. And because they only work a certain amount of hours a day, they can't get benefits.
They bailed out the lobbyists first. It was so disgusting. Yeah. And
then Chrysler went overseas and still building their products. And they let about 3 million American people go. And it just kind of crippled Ohio, Detroit. Once the auto industry left Detroit, that was it.
Yeah, I know. I got some people over
there.
How
long ago that was, and Detroit is still crippled today. It might take another 25 years for Detroit to recover.
What's your timeline for reopening?
My thing with that was, and I had a few people who worked in the medical field. When this COVID thing hit, a lot of doctors refused to come to work. A lot of them are from other countries, and so they were being deported out of the country. So we were on a shortage of doctors and nurses.
Okay.
So there was just nobody there to take care of the people. And then they blamed all of this stuff on COVID. Well, yeah, the people got sick and everything, but if you have nobody to tend to them, then this is what's going to happen. And to me, the biggest pain in the ass for this country is healthcare. My brother is a paraplegic. He's paralyzed from the neck down. And he worked all his life.
Yeah.
And insurance pays $80,000 a month for him to be in the hospital. So with about 3 million people, that's in hospitals and a burden to the government, 3 million people dying kind of like saved the insurance industry because it took that burden of 80,000 per head times 3 million off of the insurance industry. So that was just free money that these people got to put in their pocket and walk away with. So I'm not too sure COVID is as deadly as people say it is. And so now that now that the clouds are clear, they want us to go back to normal, and people are still afraid. So how do you get them unafraid now? So, you kind of like force their hand and you kind of like throw them in there. And that's basically what they're doing. And once I saw the movie Wag the Dog, I pretty much don't trust the government.
I'll tell you the most common answer that I get from people, so that both might come across your way, is that people say that they expect things to return to normal by the summertime. They say that, people are going to start taking their masks off in the spring when it gets uncomfortable, and then they just see, people are just going to return to... So you would vote. Yeah. Okay, interesting. Okay, cool. Now, the thing is that, look, there's a lot of talk right now about, police activity, defund the police, blah, 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 whatever, right? Yeah? What's your thoughts on maybe police reform or maybe some type of,
We most definitely need police reform. I'm glad you asked that question. I felt the federal government should have stepped in a long time ago, back in the 30s and 40s, when the police and there's so many crimes were going to lynchings and just killings, uh, racketeering. A lot of that stuff was able to flourish because of police
They
officers.
stuck a broom up Diallo's ass, right?
Yes,
That
they
was
did.
fucked up.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did a lot worse than that. I mean,
Yeah, I mean that's pretty fucking
there's
bad, bro. That's
guys.
pretty fucking bad. They also beat the shit out of him.
This the 77th precinct, the 75th precinct, the 67th precinct, just to name a few. They have cops that went to jail or had cases overturned because these cops were bad cops. At least 10 guys from East New York, brothers in fact, have their cases were overturned in 2006, 2015, and 2016. They were awarded uh, anywhere from $2 million to $10 million because they targeted this whole family of boys and locked every last one of them up. It's a big story in East New York about these guys. Yeah,
That's crazy, man. All right, so
yeah. And so I
yeah.
mean, these cops, these crooked cops, and we're not even going to talk about Larry Davis and the Bronx up there.
So
You know,
what's your plan to like fix that, or like do you have like maybe go ahead.
I
What's
honestly,
yeah.
honestly, I don't have a plan to fix it. Right now, my focus is on reform for the homeless because I'm homeless right now.
Cool.
I have to really be careful with picking my battles.
I understand.
It is vital that I have a roof. My nephew and I have a roof over our head. This thing with the police have been going on for I don't know how long, since 5 Point.
Well,
So that's
just so you
always
know,
been
I
going.
have a guy who's deeply involved with investigating police corruption, and police reform is something that I have people on. So maybe we can maybe I can
Oh,
help them
most
to get you
definitely,
help out too, and
most definitely.
we'll
I
network. Yeah,
definitely will lend a hand, lend an ear, and lend a voice.
cool.
But that fight right there, I have felonies, and
Right.
one more felony for me, and it's just out.
Yeah.
I know the police don't play fair. I know the government doesn't play fair.
Yeah.
I feel on this end of the spectrum, it's a little less risky
I
because,
understand that too. I
you
totally
know,
get that. Yeah, if you've been in the pen, 3 strikes you out. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So
yeah.
hey, let me ask about this other thing. All right. So the thing is, this is gonna be. I understand this is gonna be a dangerous question considering your last answer, but there's a lot of people out here that say corruption is a big part of New York City politics and a problem. So, do you know of any corruption personally, and do you have any plans to specifically go and attack it, and why? Because people, right, there needs to be some kind of watchdogs up in there. What you gonna do about that?
Let me just explain to you why I picked the Republican Party back in 1988.
Okay.
I lived on Sterling Place between Bedford and Franklin. Directly across the street from me was the Democratic Club.
Yeah.
Senator Beatty, he went to jail. He's dead now. He went to jail for corruption. We had Al Sharpton. We had Al Vance. Dolores, I can't remember her last name, but she lived on the block. Senator Beatty, and he had a crew of them. And what I saw there was enough for me to say I never wanted to be a Democrat.
And it's still corrupt as hell.
Yeah, it still is.
Yeah.
It still is.
It's real ugly. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, the Republicans are no better, but at least with the Republicans, I know where I stand with them.
Yeah.
With Democrats, there are a lot of scallywags. They stay flipping and flopping. It's just you can't trust them. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone that says, "Oh, Democrat this and Democrat that," well, show me something that the Democrats gave us. Outside of Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump, I have yet to receive anything from a president.
The biggest rollbacks to welfare happened under frickin' Clinton. You know what I mean? The police state and the jail system really grew under Clinton. So let's be real about it. You know what I mean? Thank you so much for that. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, the corruption of the Democrats by going outside of their system, I get that, and their guns will be aimed at you as a competitor. So we'll see what's up. Yeah, good luck against I think it's Giuliani, right? Yeah, he's running as the Democrat, right? Or Theo.
Yeah.
I hope Theo gets past the primaries, man. He's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Theo is a great guy. He's really compassionate about it, and he comes from the trenches, and that's what I like most about him. Some say, his antics little, off the wall, a little over the top. But sometimes you have to be like that just to get people's attention.
Yeah.
One of the favorite people
I'm all about
in
that.
this race is Paperboy, and I really have a lot of respect for that guy. I really have a lot of respect for him, Paperboy.
You do what you gotta do. That's it. You know what I mean? Not trying to be hard or nothing, but it's just sometimes you're just left with that's the only option. So
yeah.
So
kind of like Theo. Theo is the one who kind of pushed me into running, in fact.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, even though he know you run for public advocate, he's still like, that's the type of guy Theo is. So, but much love to you, man. Honestly, I will. I'm not registered. I'm registered green right now, but I would. Otherwise, I would come out and help you petition and stuff. But that's really cool, man. I'm really a big fan of yours. Actually, I look forward to helping out as time goes on.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
Any by the way, how can people follow you? You have like a campaign website or Facebook or Twitter or what's up?
Let me get you one thing. I'm not too sure how to. I'm really new to all of this here.
That's okay.
But my Twitter name is. Let me see. 1 second.
I can bring it up on the screen.
Okay. It's at Caesar Don, capital CAESAR. Capital DONN, and I'm also on Facebook, and that's Don Caesar, DONN, Caesar, CAESAR. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Cool, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah. All right. So I think that's a pretty cool interview right there. Please support. What district are you representing, by the way? Where people probably run into you?
Well, right now I'm representing the homeless shelter that I'm at, and we're
Harlem, Bronx.
We're in Long Island City, on 52-34 Van Dam Street. So this is basically where I'm going to start at with the building.
I'm being Long Island City soon, man. Actually, maybe I'll come by and give you a ring. Yeah. All right, cool, man. One love, brother.
Definitely.
Oh, last question. Do you have any thoughts on the mayoral race so far?
They definitely, whoever's gonna be mayor, has a lot of cleaning up to do. They have. I really regret the next person coming in. If they're not a financial person, then this city is just gonna go down. We need somebody that's going to really turn the city around, shake up a lot of these agencies, really clean up a lot of these. It's just so much blatant. It's like nobody's at the wheel.
Yeah.
No one's at the wheel.
Yeah, and things are just run out of control.
That's something that's going to have to be addressed right away. And I'm talking about the first 100 days.
Yeah.
In office.
Needs to be addressed now, honestly.
I really don't see it happening. I really don't see anyone gutsy enough right now.
Yeah. As a people, we might just have to take control and fix this. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
We'll
see. Definitely.
All right. Definitely. Thanks a lot. How do I pronounce your name again?
Devon.
Okay, cool, man. Yeah. Hey, it's really a pleasure to meet you, man. God bless, my brother.
Definitely.
Thank you.
It's a dark day in our nation when high-level authorities will seek to use every method to silence dissent. The truth must be told.
And if you want the truth, you need to check out independent media producers just like myself, DJ L7. You should subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications when I release a new video.
Truth of these words is beyond doubt.
That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube. Unfortunately, we have definitely seen that these mainstream outlets will cave to corporate interests, so we encourage you to join our independently moderated communities of Reddit and Discord. We also encourage you to subscribe to us on BitChute and Dailymotion so you can see the content that YouTube doesn't want us to let you see. Hey, now it's time for the most important part of the video. That's right. It's time for us to tell you about the Taking Action Group. Do you need an activist? Or maybe there's no activists around willing to help you with your cause and you need to learn to become an activist. That's exactly why we're here. Every week we get it with people from across the nation, in fact even sometimes internationally, and we develop strategies and a game plan to address the issues that are affecting all of us. Every week, myself from New York City and, of course, my co-host Lisa from Los Angeles provide a coast-to-coast perspective on what's going on in the country. If you want to donate to help out with expenses, travel, equipment, stuff like that, then I definitely appreciate it, and you can hit us off at Venmo or PayPal. Thanks a lot. Hey, by the way, we also have a merch store, so check it out. Oh my goodness, it seems like you've reached the end of the video, so make sure you check out some of our other videos. Make sure you subscribe. This is your last chance to do so thanks a lot. And looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment below if you have any questions or issues you'd like me to address. And if you're an activist, the time to make things happen is now.